Well, they did it, people. Somehow, some way, Cardfight Vanguard figured out how to make their Shin prequel have a bad ending. They had the chance. They were there. It looked like they were going to do it. They were going to give us a good ending, but instead, we got a bad ending. Not only that, they teased us with the good ending. It was thrown in front of our face multiple times per episode to the point where you genuinely thought it was going to be a good ending. But every time they did, they threw in that little thing, that little monkey wrench to make it a bad ending. And studios don't want a bad ending. They want the good ending. They want the ending that leaves you feeling all happy and positive because A, it means you'll come back later for that same feeling, but also because when you then see that product in a store, you'll associate it with a good ending. So going for a bad ending a lot of times is counterintuitive, especially considering how much Cardfight Vanguard tries to go for a good ending. But instead, the studio let them go ahead and do their bad ending, and because of this, it's the kind of ending that's going to stick with you and not leave you and never go away, at least not anytime soon. So that's why tonight we're going to talk about why this is a bad ending, why they want to go for a bad ending, and how it being a bad ending affects things in the future. So yeah, let's just get right into it. So the episode begins with the card fight. And all in all, I do enjoy the card fight between Shin and Tatsuya. It's very, close. It's got this very aggressive feel to it. It is nice to see Protect 2 get used, because in the real world, Protect 2 is, and I don't want to sound mean, but it is a tad niche. A lot of times if you play Protect, you just want that extra perfect guard. It's nice to see Genesis really go for it. I like the way every turn has this sense of weight to it. One thing, and I talked about this a little bit in the last video they established that's very smart about this fight, is that Tatsuya is not necessarily being portrayed as the hyper-intelligent villain. He's not super well thought out. He's not super complex or super ideological. He just kind of seems like this dude who is just so consumed by grief and sadness and wants to fix it in all the wrong ways that it's just consumes him, and it's now now maybe it could work, but more likely it's going to destroy him, and it's going to destroy everyone he has left. The one thing people pointed out, and I do think, yeah, maybe they could have done this differently, he keeps doing these crazy villain faces, and they don't really work. The thing about Tatsuya's design is he's very clearly, from the way he appears to be, is supposed to be very kind, sweet, simple, very soft-hearted, all these things, and I think that's conveyed very well. So I feel like when you make that transition to him being serious and driven and violent, it's enough. I don't think you need the crazy evil face, especially because he's not supposed to be crazy and evil. He's supposed to be relatable. It doesn't ruin anything, at least not for me, but I do find it distracting, and I understand why it kind of hurt the whole thing for a lot of people. But all in all, I think it is a very good card fight. I think there's a lot of great acting and directing, and it is a very intense one. And again, Shin obviously is going to win. I like that it's sort of played up as the end of you don't really know, did Shin truly reach Tatsuya before that and he basically threw the match, or was it in the way he was predicting how the turn was going to go, he just felt there was no way. I like that it's also left on that ambiguous note. He doesn't really say anything after this moment, so we don't really know what the immediate effects of this whole thing will have on him. But all in all, it's a very good resolution, and I quite enjoyed it. From there, we then get what we think is going to be the good ending. Everyone's friends, everyone's happy, Tatsuya will learn the error of his ways, everyone can go back to normal life, status quo is restored. But right when that good ending is coming, no, Life says no. Reality says no. There's got to be pain, and there's got to be stuff that is ununderstandable. Unfortunately, it's also a tad ununderstandable to the audience. I kind of felt like the bit where Chronodran is like, everything will be fine, and him and Chrono start floating away. It's not really well conveyed what's going on. It almost looked like Chronodran is kidnapping him, but I guess the insinuation is supposed to be this is happening without their consent. Like, both of them create this weird gravitational thingamajig because of their connection, and them simply viewing this as happy is A, because it's fun to float, but also B, is just sort of the fact they have that natural bond and they don't necessarily realize what's about to happen. But all in all, I do think it could have been visually shown off a bit better, but again, not a deal breaker, just a little things I feel like could have been tweaked if these episodes didn't need to be cranked out so quickly and at their clearly fairly low budgets. But all in all, it's fine, and the next few scenes I quite like. I like that we always keep that mystery that what the fuck is going on here, because no one in the room seems to know. I like even when Valkyrian shows up, it's not a, oh shit, this is so cool moment, it's, what the fuck is happening here? I like the way the violence is shown off. It's not particularly groundbreaking or anything like that, but I think it visually does get across what it needs to. I like the sense of urgency that then happens. Like, it is basically, get to the chopper! No, but like, it really has that intensity. It's like, everyone's got like, oh shit, things are going wrong right now, shit is hitting the fan, let's get the fuck out of here. But, of course, all Rive cares about is saving Chrono. Now, maybe Rive could have left it up to Uranus to deal with it, or Valkyrian. They obviously seemed very willing to help it a little bit, but Rive as a father, he's only thinking about saving Chrono and goes in to save him and gets dragged to Cray. I still have no idea how Cray's a planet works, but whatever. But this whole bit I really thought was very interesting, and it had this very sad intensity to it. If you know about Cardfight Vanguard, if you remember G, you know more or less the concept behind Chrono, and you know what this ends up doing to him. And if you don't know what it is, you've been introduced to Chrono as just a happy, cute little kid, and now you can only help but wonder what's life going to be like without any parent. Without mom and dad, like all that. And it also is interesting because they didn't do that in the original. Rive doesn't go to Cray the first time they did this. He's just like wandering the desert because stupid kid anime. This time around, he's stuck on what is often portrayed as a very unpleasant, unlikable, violent planet. And that's not just my personal opinion. They seem dedicated to making you think Cray is a shithole. So yeah, he's now gone. Chrono's now alone. Myojin gets his weird face scar. I thought that was a little unnecessary. Does anyone really care that he had a weird face scar? And then they get on the helicopter and they go to the stadium. And this is it. This was the moment where I genuinely believed we were getting the good ending. Because there it is. What's his face? Mark loses to Kanzaki, but Kanzaki doesn't cry or get mad that the other guy was weaker than him. He genuinely showed respect for him. Kanzaki had fucking character development, people. This is the world we are living in. But of course, what about the tournament? How are they supposed to win it? We spent all this time building up. How is Shin going to make the tournament and win the tournament? Man, we gotta see him win the tournament! And well, here it comes! He jumps off a fucking helicopter. This guy who's never been in a helicopter a day in his life just jumps off it with a big parachute. The Esca logo was kind of funny. That's a blink and you'll miss it joke that I appreciate. And then he lands, and you think, oh yeah, it's Shin, here we go, this is gonna be awesome. But it's not. It's the bad ending. It's that's why the last real line is Mikaru saying, "Where's my brother?" Because everything has gone wrong. Nothing is good. Nothing is happy. Nothing is going to be coming out of this. Everyone is slowly realizing what has now happened and the consequences that's going to bring with it. That final shot of Shin standing on top of the podium with the broken glasses, that concept that he is now broken. He is fundamentally weaker as a human being because of what he has just gone through, not stronger. he's worse off. Everything that has just happened has led to what is going to be a worse situation from him. And when we look at what has been hinted at in that recap special, as well as what we can infer from Shin in the first few arcs, he never gets over it. He never truly recovers. He obviously doesn't continue on with his career in Vanguard and just decides to run the shop and take care of Misaki. And if we want to infer a little bit, maybe it's because this experience really showed him how fragile life is. Like, yeah, obviously he lost his brother and sister, but he dedicated himself to an ideal that allowed him to not really have to... I'm trying to find the right words here, but basically what I'm trying to say is that this was the thing that really changed his life. This was the moment where he really, to all extensive purposes, grew up, gave up on his dreams, and decided to just be okay with what he had. And that's kind of sad. And that's tragic. And we know what we're about to get. We're about to see what this life has led for Chrono, because again, we got the bad ending. And it's now time to see, can Chrono make a good future for himself with a new beginning next Saturday? Yeah, if you couldn't tell, I fucking loved this. This was great. This was really fucking well done. I really just kind of wanted to do something a little bit different and see if I could pull off one of those reviews where people keep to a gimmick like that. I do like the idea that they went for a more negative ending, because again, you end on the positive note to keep people coming back. A risk that most shows won't take. And I really respect the fact that Cardfight Vanguard is willing to go to that darker place. And even though the first time they went up to bat with Chrono, they missed fucking terribly. I'm almost finished with G Next, and oh, Jesus, fuck. But, like, I really have faith in this. I'm really excited, and I cannot wait to see what is in store next for Cardfight Vanguard. So, as for our Vanguard question of the week, now we're going to get a little current eventy here. I don't want to get too serious. I don't want to get into any serious political views about this subject, but I'm curious to see what the general response is. So as of the time of this recording on like a Wednesday at 9:15 at night, Yu-Gi-Oh! Announced that they will be canceling its Big Charlotte tournament. This is a big deal, and of course, obviously, lots of other events have been canceled due to the coronavirus outbreak. Again, I'm not here to judge anybody. This is a purely, what do you think is the right thing to do? Do you think it is a good idea to cancel card game events? Do you think that are you afraid that your local Springfest will be canceled, especially because Vanguard doesn't do a ton of events? And what do you think the course of action is to then do? Do you think they should reschedule? Do you think everyone should just grin and bear it? There is no right or wrong answer here. I genuinely do not believe there is, and I genuinely am curious to see what people have to say. I love to hear your thoughts below. And as always, click to like, click to subscribe, and join me for Chrono Round 2.